Force pushing in Git is one of the fastest ways to ruin a teammate's day. But sometimes we do need to force push. In today's video, I'm going to show you how we can rewrite history, force push, and keep everyone on the team happy. So let's see how we can do this. I'm going to simulate two colleagues, Bob and Jane, and what I've done is I've checked out to the same repository into two different directories. One's called Bob and the other's called Jane. So here we are in Bob's directory, and if we do a git log -n2 -stat, what we can see is we're on the tidyup branch. It is following the remote tidyup branch. We have a commit here, ofec. It was created today, and we have just made changes to the analysis results file. And then the previous commit is a logo addition from November the 30th. And if we pop into Jane's repo, we can see exactly the same thing. She's on branch tidyup, following the remote branch tidyup. And again, this is the same commit, ofec, with all the same changes and the same previous commit. Now, if we look at what Jane's in the middle of doing, she has made some updates, and this is very similar to the previous commit. So what she's decided to do is she is going to amend the previous commit. So we'll do git commit minus amend -a capital C head. So what this will do is it will amend the commit with everything we've just seen in the diff, and we're going to use the same message as previously. So now if we look at the most recent commit, we have what we had originally changed plus updates the output formatter registry. So if Jane tries to push this to the remote branch, what we get told is the remote branch and the local branch are kind of out of step with each other, which is hardly surprising because we have rewritten history locally. So what we could do is we can use --force, and what that will do is that will push our changes and force the remote branch to be the same as our local branch. So if we just go and have a look at what's going on, we now have our local tidyup branch is still mapping the remote one, and it has this new commit here where we are both had what we had in the previous commit plus what the information we have in the amended ones. And as before, the previous commit is the add logo from November the 30th. So what we've done is we've amended a commit. Jane has amended her commit, and she has pushed that up to the remote branch, and the remote branch is now tracking Jane's changes. If we swap back to Bob, and we see he's also got some changes locally. His changes are to the history factory registry. And again, this is very similar to what the previous commit was. So Bob too is going to amend his commit. And then when Bob tries to push to the remote tidyup branch, he too is told that this is not possible because the commits are out of step. So of course what Bob could do is he could do a force push, which is done. And now if we look at what's going on, what's happened here is the local tidyup for Bob is now the same as the remote branch. So we have overwritten the remote branch. We've got Bob's amended changes, but we've lost Jane's. So by force pushing, whoever pushed latest, their changes persist, and the people who pushed first, their changes are lost. So let's see how we can do that in a safer way. So I've reset everything back to how it was. So let's take a look. We have got on Bob's branch, he's at tidyup locally, and that is pointing to the remote tidyup branch. We can see it's commit ofecb again, and there's just a single change to the analysis results file. And if we take a look at Jane's repository, it is in exactly the same state. So it's same commit. Her local branch tidyup is also talking to the remote, is also lined up with the remote branch. So once again, we will amend the commit. Sorry, if we look at that commit, it's got the original file and the amended file updates. So we're going to push to the remote branch, but this time we're going to use the force-with-lease option. So that's pushed up and it's all been successful. So if we look at what's going on, we have now the commit has both the analysis results changes and the changes to the output format repository. And we can see that Jane's local tidy up branch is in line with the remote branch. So Git allowed that to happen because it was a safe forced push to make. So that did do a force update. Now, if we go back to Bob's branch, and Bob is also going to amend the commit. So look at Bob's commit. It's got the analysis results, and Bob made additional changes to the history factory registry. So we're going to use the same push command that we used before. And in this case, this has failed because we cannot, Git cannot use the changes made, or the changes that have been made by Bob are not compatible with the changes that are pushed up to the tidy up branch. So this is a much safer way of doing, instead of using --force, if you use --force with lease, it will do force pushes in a safe way when it can do. So if we do want to take the changes that Bob has made and merge them in with the changes that Jane made, we would first of all run git fetch just to make sure everything is up to date. Then we want to cherry pick the commit that is on the origin, well, the remote branch for tidy up, but we don't want to make our own commit. We just want the changes for that. So we are going to do git cherry pick. Then we're going to use the no commit option. So that just means it will take the changes, but it won't actually make a commit. And we want to get origin tidy up. So if we look at the diff, these are the changes that were made by Jane. And then we want to amend our current commit to take on board those changes. So we'll do git commit -a amend -c head. And now we have all of the changes that were made by both Jane and Bob. So this was the original set of changes. These were the changes made by Bob or by Jane, and these were the ones made by Bob. And now we can push those up. And again, it would be safe to do a force push. So we're going to do git push tidy up with force with lease. And that is a safe change to push up because we're not overwriting anybody else's code. So the force with lease is a really useful option when using the git push command, and it's much safer than just using the --force. So hopefully you found that useful.